Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a Truder, welcome back to Empire Total War. Well, last time, we may have slightly, by accident, become Napoleon. You see, I thought we were in excellent shape. Alright, secure borders, nice safe homeland, so it was perfectly reasonable for my army to go a bit east, even if it was snowing the tiniest amount to sort out some troubles elsewhere. And it turns out, no, my army is now massively out of position, I'm at war on every front, and I need to get home in a hurry. But don't you worry, because I've got a cunning plan. You see, I think I can turn several of these problems against each other. Okay, it's gonna be brilliant. So, let's make this plan happen. Step 1, we've got Berlin right here. It is a tiny bit guarded, but honestly, barely at all. So my army that just, handed over Dresden to the Austrians is going straight up and in. And I'm pretty confident that what I'm going to see is, yes, really nothing too scary at all. In fact, you know what? That is a really favourable balance of power. So, as this would mostly just be cutting through, firelock armed citizen trash, I'm happy to actually auto-resolve this one, because we're pretty much guaranteed to win, and losses should be pretty modest with balance of power looking like that. So, we just walk on in. Yeah, to be honest, that's probably better than I could have done right there. Generally in this game, if auto-resolve was that much on your side, then the game was going to give you not just a victory, but a victory with low losses. That would actually be pretty difficult to do. So, we now own ourselves a Berlin, but I most definitely do not want a Berlin. It is directly between two different Prussian states, and also gives me borders with Austria I'd rather not have, but what's more important is what I've just denied to the Prussians. For despite their many cities right next to the ocean, they don't actually have any ports but this one. This was their only bloody port, meaning all of a sudden they can't train any more troops. And more importantly, we know they've got a trade ship somewhere here in Madagascar. We've seen it before. It's not doing anything anymore, because it can't do anything anymore. There's no port to receive the trade. Their entire trade fleet is now just useless. They're still paying the upkeep, but they're not getting anything from it. So, problem number 2. Sweden keep attacking me because they want Norway. Why do they want Norway? Well, broadly, because it's the only thing they can want. They're in a really weird position right now. Because so many of their territories are so isolated, they simply don't have neighbours. I'm pretty much the only person that they can get annoyed at, excluding Russia, who they're at war with, but due to a weird coincidence, St. Petersburg has pretty much gone independent, and nobody's gone to take it back. Maybe the garrison there is, like, super large, I don't know. But basically, yes, the big Swedish cities are now not bordering the big Russian cities. So they're just kind of leaving each other alone. So Sweden's got nothing to do with this giant army. So I think you might be seeing where I'm going with this. Sweden want to get land, because right now it's the only place they can get land. I, meanwhile, have got a giant pile of land sitting right here in Europe, surrounded by potential enemies I want to dispose of. And I think we might just be able to, make these two problems turn into one solution. If Sweden is willing to accept Berlin as war reparations, and they should do, it's a good city, it's got a port right on the Baltic, it makes sense for them to take it, all of a sudden, Sweden will, 1, hopefully make peace as part of that deal, and as a result, not take Norway next turn, and 2, they might move their army down to Berlin, where all of a sudden it's not nearby to Norway, so it's not quite such a tempting target. But most importantly, 3. Right now, Sweden and Prussia are not at war. So, either Prussia has to accept they simply don't have a port anymore, which I doubt they're gonna do, but if that happens, okay, one less naval power for me to worry about, but if they decide they do want that port back and they do want to reunify the two sides of their empire, which I really think they're going to want to do, that means Prussia is going to attack Sweden. And that means Sweden's got a brand new enemy that's attacking one of their cities, and that is going to be useful to me. So that's what we want. I want my two enemies played off against each other. And even better, if I can negotiate this, something very useful is going to happen to this army, which I need to get out of here as soon as possible. But let's just start off the negotiation here, because the AI generally doesn't consider, yes, territories that are on fire to be that valuable, but we'll see. Peace, I'll give you Berlin, and we should also start trading, though they kind of hate trading with me, so whether they'll go for it, no. They definitely don't want that. I might need to sweeten the deal. I might need to pay them off as well, because they are right on the doorstep of Norway. So, okay, let's try a few variations here. We can do this. Honestly, I am handing them a trap right now, and I think they're going to take it. Okay, I'm going to sweeten the deal a lot. You get Berlin, technology, a little bit of loose change, and all I want is peace. And okay, that is not a reasonable response. I'm upping the payment. The AI loves payment. Alright, if I just offer them enough money, they will take this. And there we go. It's done. It's going to cost me another 5 grand to do, but the possibility of Prussia at war with Sweden, which is almost guaranteed in the long run, is worth it, to my mind. Especially as I get to, yes, hold on to Norway, which pays more than 1,000 a turn anyway, so I'm still making a profit by not losing Norway. Now. Tactical retreat. What that means is, yes, in this game, any situation where you're in someone's territory, where you don't have military access, is a declaration of war. So, I can't just step out of the city and be standing outside it when I sell it or surrender it to somebody else. Meaning, your troops just get teleported to the nearest friendly territory, which is rather in my favour. Because now my troops move straight over here to Copenhagen, meaning they are now right next to my boat, and reset the map by changing region, then changing back. Lovely. We've now got Berlin in Swedish hands. They're going to waste a lot of money putting this thing back together. Now, the bigger problem is Prussia. Prussia will almost certainly accept an offer of peace right now. They might even be willing to pay for it. The reason being, I've taken 2 of their cities and I've got a massive army floating nearby. And they're aware of that because they are just, yes, building a giant force at Hanover. The problem is, if I declare peace with Prussia, they're still at war with Westphalia. If they come over here and take the Rhineland, then they're even nearer to me, and that's another ally that simply doesn't exist anymore, which would be a shame because then my borders would be looking really flimsy. Don't like that at all. But the problem is they're already showing an interest in Copenhagen. Now I could just send a boat here to block this up, but there's nothing to stop him just running around burning down my schools, my ports, generally being annoying. I think we need to make peace with Prussia for now. Their army is not that huge. I believe Westphalia can take care of themselves, at least for the minute. I mean, if we're lucky, as soon as I'm at peace with these guys, this army will march down here, try and retake, yes, Dresden, Austria will get pulled in. Yeah, that's what I want to see. This army wandering off over here. But unfortunately, I'm going to lose visibility of this entire region momentarily. So, I want paying, though, ideally. Yeah, they really hate everybody. Prussia just hates absolutely everybody, so peace. But, buddy, I'm expecting something in return, like, say, I'd take a piece of technology. I'd take that. Wait, what am I working on right now? Is that what I'm working on? Yes, I'm working on that, but I'm still 9 turns out from it being done. So, I wouldn't say no to having it right now. And go on. I'll be a bit cheeky as well. I'm going to just ask for some money. We'll see what he comes back with, because I suspect with my army in good shape and 2 cities gone, they will be keen to make peace. And... okay, you are not in a position to make demands. Okay, in the end, we got the treaty signed, but nobody gained anything. Every time I put anything to them, they wanted something in return I wasn't willing to give, so we've just gone for a complete white peace. Which at the bare minimum means, yes, once again, just like before, their troops have been kicked out of Copenhagen. The problem we've got is, yeah, Copenhagen is relatively vulnerable. I need you guys to get in here. Then again, if I send 1 brick to here, just break you off from the fleet, is that exerting... that is exerting control on the strait right here. This 1 ship basically means even if Prussia launch a surprise attack, with this ship here, they cannot cross the strait. So, okay, we're going to leave that guy right here. And then we're going to load my troops up. And then we're going to use the boats to get them home. So, 2 wars sorted out immediately. Sweden at peace. Prussia at peace. And those 2, if we're lucky, at war with each other momentarily. And meanwhile, yes, my troops are already almost home. Excellent. Now, the problem we've got here is the economy is in absolute shambles. Alright, I'm paying sort of bribes to a lot of people, and the army is getting out of control, because armies in this game are really expensive. Part of the problem is that trade is not happy. Spain is causing issues for me, and I know Spain will not accept peace right now. They've got a big army near my territory. If I go and kick their asses in France, they might be willing to chill out. But the problem we've got is, yes, various partnerships and deals we're doing are not working for us. Persia is being constantly besieged by the Ottomans, so no trade is making it to them at all. Meanwhile, my trade routes are just going so far afield. The Maratha guys, they're being raided on at multiple fronts. The money is not getting to me, and the goods aren't getting to me either. Okay. We need to do something about this. The sugar doesn't help either. That literally no sugar is making it home right now. Alright, I feel like Persia, we need to break off the relationship with you. I'm sorry, buddy, but you can't keep your bloody roots clear. I need to find reliable sea trade partners. Now, in a perfect world, Sweden would be the ideal partner, because they're really bloody nearby. But on this occasion, that's not going to work. These guys don't even have a port. These guys count as rebels, so I'm not sure they can trade. And also, you do have a port. It's not a good port, and your city appears to be somewhat on fire. I'm not convinced these guys are going to be amazing trade buddies. As much as I'm really not keen on trading into the Mediterranean, I think it's going to be our best bet. Yep, Venice will trade in return for a tiny bit of technology. Done. And if nothing else, this gives us a good bit of visibility along this trade spine. Though, yes, bare minimum, we've got Austria floating around. Those guys are going to be useful. Yeah, that's a decent-sized fleet, currently at war with Spain, together with various factions of pirates and variants thereupon. So, okay, you guys will be nice and useful. And if we're going to trade into the Mediterranean, we may as well trade with the Ottomans. Generally, they're pretty good at keeping their ports clear. So, alright buddy, let's go. And straight away, they will do it no charge. So, okay. That should make the trade situation look much, much better. Right now we're trading a whole bunch of general goods, but yeah, the Ottomans are big, they're rich, that is going to help a lot, and straight away, yes, the loss next turn has turned into a profit. Not a great profit, but it's still a better trade setup than we had before. This is why there's no real need to say, you know, obsess over holding France, because they hold multiple ports, so you'd have all the trade routes, like... If I had 6 more trade routes, who would I trade with? Plenty of these people, they literally don't have capacity or access to the sea. Even among minor nations, there's just not that many options available to you. Meanwhile, in South America, yeah. The problem is we're sitting on a big army that's actually pretty expensive to maintain, but it can't bloody get anywhere. Our port is under siege. They're not sacked. They can't go in and sack the port because the troops are there. But, yeah, there's no path along the coast. We need boats present to actually get these guys moving. And, I mean, we could just train the smallest, cheapest boat going. I think we speculated on this before, but we couldn't actually afford it. Get maybe 1 sloop out. We'll see if we can just use that to slip past these guys. Because if we're lucky, these guys will naff off. Okay, time to keep a really good eye on the Spanish. Because what I want is them to just hold still. That flag is looking pretty battered. Those troops are not in the best condition. But if they were to try and make a play against Flanders, I do think we'd be struggling a bit. Still, I like this extra visibility. Austria is just doing its own thing right now. Not really sure where they're going, but towards Spanish territory. Good. Congratulations. Spain, meanwhile, could just get off the trade routes. That'd be great. Magnificent. They are doing precisely that. And their army is moving away down to the south. 1 small force returning. No, hang on. Might have been rebels. Not 100% sure. And, okay. That was the Spanish fleet probably carrying their army, heading for Trinidad and Tobago. Honestly, that's fine. I don't care. They want to take it, they can take it. When my fleet makes it to the Caribbean, and we can actually move the army I've built there, we will be A-okay. No trouble. I just need to get my main fleet over there. I think that's the most important theatre at the moment. Oh, hang on, it's the French! The French are back! Okay, this is a thing that can happen, by the way. Which is, when a major civilization is destroyed, but then their home territory has a rebellion, then they can just sort of come back. Which... okay, so France is back. I think what's happened here is they defaulted to their starting position at the beginning of the game. So the position of France right now is they don't like England, they're allied with Spain, and for some reason they're really, really into Sweden. Though fascinatingly, while unfriendly, they're not hostile to me, because this is a different government to what they had before. They don't get their empire back, by the way. Quebec still gets to exist, don't worry. Okay, this is now too hilarious to not do, but is it possible, just possible, that I could turn France into a friend? Because they're only unfriendly. We could trade with them. They're going to be desperately wanting trade partners. Their power is weak right now. And they want 300 gold. I'll do it. Flip me, let's go. So we're now trading with New France, except not New France, because New France already exists. See? Right there. New France. The nice thing is, of course, New France is actually pretty flimsy. They don't have any other territories whatsoever. They've got no empire. They've got this one tiny starting army that's presumably... oh, it's nothing but rebels. I mean, I could bring my forces home to destroy New France right now, but is the better option just to have them as sort of frenemies next door? They're not causing trouble for me. They're too weak and poor to build too much of a navy, to be honest, so... okay, this is not what I was expecting to happen. This is marvellous. This is why I love Empire. The game is bananas. Okay, while I try and figure out what to do with this new look Europe that I was not expecting, do not forget, possibly the most important thing of all. We've got the military syllabus, meaning a drill school is now 3 turns away. And that is grenades, Scots, Swiss, everything. So many units start becoming available. My original plan, by the way, was go take out France and then hand it over to my friends, the Westphalians, because Britain failed because there was a body of water between them and France, so they just couldn't properly reinforce it. But the Westphalians, as my allies, have military access through my territory, so they can just walk over to France, and then even if the Prussians attacked the Rhineland, the Westphalians would still exist and have a very good territory to rebuild in. But I mean, a weak, ineffective, and not even that hostile France is honestly not a terrible idea. Though they can end up at war with Britain, and when they do, I'll need to follow Britain in, because I need to keep Britain on side. I mean, with Austria here, and yes, Sweden here, I would love, more than anything, to just say, screw it, we're going back in and we're taking Hanover. But that's... it's a big army. I say it's a big army. It's a very cavalry army. It must be said. There's much cavalry to not much actual infantry. And cavalry is good in this game if supported. Unsupported cavalry just gets shot, like, a lot. The problem is, if they see me just with an army on their borders, they will keep their army right there indefinitely. Send the army back to Amsterdam for now. Alright, just drop them right here. You could have just used the port, but whatever. Okay, let's get these guys up to snuff. We've actually got ourselves one good bit of cavalry. We can deploy into that army right now, because... does anyone remember what happened to the other bit of cavalry that we had? Because I'm not sure where that's gone. I thought it had gone north to, yeah, Denmark, but it's not there. So I'm sure it'll turn up sooner or later. Army needs more money than I've got for repairs. So, okay, focus on, yes, the infantry. That's the more important bit right there. Just get these guys up and running. Maybe... the cannons we can leave be. I'm assuming we can't. No, we can't afford that, unfortunately. And yes, maintain the general. It's important he doesn't die. Looks like we can afford to do everything, but handful of cannons and 1 unit of damaged cavalry. Which is actually fine. You guys just go over there. Other unit of fresh cavalry come over here. The fleet, however, I think it needs to be making a move. This fleet is now needed in the Caribbean, and that's where we shall go. Meaning I'm going to pull this one boat then again. This is dangerous. This boat should really stay here. But I would like one boat to be nearby to the army. I'm assuming the Prussians won't be coming in, like... yeah, even if they wanted to attack us, they can't get over the water in a single turn by the looksy of it. Though, worryingly, they could actually hit Amsterdam. That's the thing they could do. I want this army moved. Problem is, right now it can't really go anywhere. It could go south against Austria. That'd be fine. They want to go against Austria. That's okay. I also need to get my own agents on the move. When I say agents, like... it's some guy who really should be doing research, but he's not. I need him moving in this direction to spy on this army. Or I could just go and kill these guys. It's so cavalry heavy. With my army back up to strength, I suspect I could win, you know. But they've got so much more they're going to want to do. Munich is vulnerable. They're going to want Berlin back because they've got no access to their own trade network. They're at war with Austria. And also keep an eye on Sweden. Like, if Sweden were to bring their troops down over here, I'd be willing to maybe load up my troops and just get them over to Stockholm, take it. I'm confused right now. Alright, my plans did not factor in the possibility that France might come back. Also, will you go and annoy somebody else? Yeah, Spain's coming in. They're coming in. They're going to take Trinidad and Tobago. There is nothing we can do about that. So, honestly, that's okay. The Navy is looking flimsy. The Army's looking pretty flimsy too. I don't know where their line infantry have gone. Could be anywhere. So, we need to, go take some of this back. And then, honestly, maybe ignore the islands and just work around the coast. Continue focusing on the fact that, yes, the mining in South America and the tax it generates, good, reliable money. Okay, Britain continues to build the world's biggest fleet, but yes, Britain is now not at war with New France. They're just sort of, doing a bit of a reset. They don't like each other because, you know, Britain and France, it's kind of a thing, but they're not at war. And there's not much reason for France to attack Britain. Okay, Spain's also got a big fleet out in the Mediterranean that could, this is why I don't like trading in the Mediterranean if I can avoid it. Because the Spanish cause trouble in the Mediterranean. It's just, you know, their neighbourhood. Now, if we're lucky, the Austrians might come along and do something about that. But, okay, for now at least, the Spanish seem to be doing their own thing. They've also got a big army somewhere. Don't really know what's going on with that. And yes, we're going to lose this. There's no way we win that. Sacrifice the island. No trouble. Okay, Spain is also... Ooh. Would you guys mind dealing with these pirates? Because I'd really appreciate that. They're actually doing me a favour right now. Because everybody hates pirates. Like, the Spanish hate pirates more than they immediately attacked me. Well, okay, I don't know what I expected, to be honest. That's reasonable, yes. And Sweden is marching back to Stockholm. Now, we saw one of their fleets, the big fleet, just naff off into the North Sea. I don't know where they were going. They might have just been going to trade somewhere, but there is a giant Swedish fleet somewhere. I do not have visibility of it. Morocco is attacking that trade route, but I'm not at war with them. Should be fine. Westphalia should be able to deal with itself. You guys, please just leave us alone. These guys are really annoying. They cause trouble for everybody. It's the one thing Spain's good for, even if you're at war with Spain. Spain will do a pretty good job mopping up this nonsense. Oh, but here's exciting. We've got ourselves a new bit of technology. Meaning, sadly, we did not gain the ability to train dragons, as cool as that would be. Instead, we get dragoons. It's still a cool word, though, and they are still pretty bloody useful. These guys are basically, like, infantry that's a bit more flexible. Their deal is they are a small unit of line infantry that gets up on a horse and then can ride around at horse speed. They dismount and then they shoot from the ground. Basically, a way of getting gunfire round the side and the back of the enemy. Useful because, of course, as we've talked about before, in this game it's not about killing your enemy to the last man. It's about putting down pressure from every angle on the weak spot to cause a break and then rolling up a giant line of line infantry. So these guys being able to easily get around the back, dismount and open fire, and then if they come under pressure, remounting and disappearing again, they can be strategically very useful. Though to my mind, for their price point, they're mostly not worth it. Still, economy's looking good because for the moment at least, trade is mostly flowing, with the exception of sugar still being missing. At least, yes, we've now got a good selection of exporting going on. Oh, I just realised part of the reason the economy's not looking so good is I forgot the fleet I captured from the Prussians. I sent them to Norway for repairs, and then I sort of, forgot about them. I will say, what's going on right now is the price of ivory is very, very good indeed. We are making some very good money on the old ivory trade, and Madagascar seems to be a pretty bloody safe trade theatre. So, alright. As we've also got Venetians floating around, who we are perfectly chill with, I'd say send that fleet to Madagascar. Just get all the ivory we can. That is going to make good money. If we could basically turn ivory into our second spice trade, oh yeah, that's going to be nice right there. Though actually, thinking of my main fleet, as you guys are going to be going to the Caribbean, we may as well just send you, you know, via Spain while we're going in that direction, just to go and say hello to any Spanish ships nearby. Though yeah, by the looks of it right now, most Spanish fleets are within the Mediterranean. Hopefully, the Austrians will deal with that for me. Oh, and we've located the Swedish Fleet, currently located off the coast of Scotland, with, yes indeed, some are really good expensive ships and a whole bunch of trade ships. Every time they declare war on me, they send these guys out to sea, like towards Iceland. And I don't really know what their objective is, but they do it a lot. Okay, with the situation partially resolved with France, at least for now, I'd say we are probably safe to start breaking down a handful of troops. Right here, we can run a slightly smaller army around Flanders. Oh, and very important too, do not forget, your colleges can be upgraded. Right now my school generates a certain number of points per turn. Upgraded, it's going to get better. The downside is, you may also notice, this building causes unhappiness. Not because, like, you know, schools are bad or anyone hates them. The opposite. Schools are generating revolutionary progressive ideals that get people roused up a bit. Too many schools around and people are going to start clamouring for reform, is what this game calls it. So, yes indeed, too many schools can be dangerous for the local public order. As a general rule though, in your home territory, it's pretty much always going to be safe to just keep on upgrading, because happiness here shouldn't be too much of a problem. We can also upgrade the, yes, happiness buildings if need be, for a lovely opera house. But no, let's get a college going on for the time being. And the economy is looking much better, yes. In fact, we're looking pretty peaceful right now, all things considered. Like, we're only at war with two major powers, and we're trading with a giant pile of people who are increasingly... You're indifferent. Surely I couldn't end up being best friends with France. I mean, that would be a bloody plot twist. Okay, one more turn until my fleet set off on their big journeys, and seriously, I feel like me and Hanover, even though we're at peace, it's definitely peace that should be said like that. Peace, with inverted commas, because I think we both know we're not at peace. And as soon as the opportunity presents itself, I'm going for Hanover. Okay, so my plan for me and France to be best friends, in the end, did not work out. Honestly, I'm surprised they want to do this under the circumstances, but sure, I suppose. I'm happy to go and burn down Paris again. Spain, meanwhile, continuing to just wander around the Mediterranean, doing a good job of being the Mediterranean Sea Police, though, yes, they can be a bit annoying on my trade route. Prussia, meanwhile, holding steady. Nothing too dramatic there. We've now got visibility of the Ottomans, because, yes, we've got trade going into that port right there, and then along that road towards Constantinople. So, yes, indeed, these guys are just marching around, not sure what they want. They're pretty much always at war with Russia, so sooner or later something's going to go on up there, I would imagine. As for Sweden, guys, seriously, you can't possibly be planning this again, because this time I've got a big army that's not actually that busy doing anything else, okay? Okay, but Westphalia's on the move. Oh, guys, could you be thinking of making a bit of an attack somewhere? Oh, that'd be nice. I want these guys to expand, so they don't get wiped out by a single bad engagement when the Prussians come for them. Alright, deploy the entire army of Amsterdam, if you would be so kind. They could just go and burn down this theatre, just to let the French know we're bloody coming. With that done, send the army that's currently in Brussels back to Amsterdam, just in case the, yes, Prussians smell blood in the water. Okay, meanwhile, my agent has arrived, so, yeah, if the Prussians move, we'll know about it. But right now, that is slightly worrying force. Right there, actually. Bloody hell. Okay, we might need to go and deal with this, because I do not trust any of this nonsense. Bare minimum, at least we've got the money. So train a handful of backup troops, just in case. Meanwhile, in terms of navy, no particular sign going on here of any Spanish fleet, so... Alright, you guys just head on your way towards the Caribbean. Seriously, that theatre has got away from me a bit. But one sad bit of news. The Admiral's dead. Fortunately, his ship is still here. So, basically, yeah, let's just make someone on the ship the brand new Admiral. And there we go. He's only level 3. But he's 22. So if we could just avoid him dying, everything's going to be okay. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say, starting off with 4 traits is not a bad number. Okay, I don't know how, but France has got a ship down in the Mediterranean, and now they've taken more. Spain, meanwhile, is... Okay, I think Spain is setting up for a big invasion of Morocco. So that keeps them out of my hair. Honestly, I'll take it. Not a bad result. And Sweden are marching away again. Seriously, that army just needs to be murdered at some point. I am not enjoying how they just keep coming up to our borders and looking really interested in Norway. Oh, and here's one I was not expecting. I mean, this does happen eventually, because they get bored of you being nearby when they want to have sole control of everything. The Maratha Confederacy down in India, having pretty much wiped out the vast majority of the Mughal Empire, has now decided we're at war. And they are friends with Russia as well. Now, they are already enemies with Britain, so Britain should be pretty happy to join up with all this nonsense. Honestly, I'm pretty happy to just ignore that war. Shouldn't really affect me until the point where they build a bigger fleet. Then there's going to be trouble. Yes. Honestly, if anything, this is good in the long run. It means I don't need to be sending all my trade all the way back to India to hand it over to those guys. Trading partners nearby would be better. Oh, speak of the devil, there's a... Oh, they were... Okay, never mind. So they're about to take Ceylon. They have got the jump on me right there. You guys can have it. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't even that valuable to me. Like, it sent some tea home, which is nice, but I could do without. Enjoy. Yeah, they were building up a much bigger fleet than I thought they were. And if we're lucky, they'll be mostly leaving my... Wow, that's a big Morocco fleet. I don't know where those guys got that from, but well done. If you guys can just block up the straits with that, then, yeah, Spain literally can't invade. So, okay, there's one to watch. That'll be a good showdown. Oh, and check out Quebec heading out onto the open seas and shooting down pirates. Good job, lads. Okay, let's talk good things and bad things. So I've lost some tea. That's a bit of a shame, but we are continuing to do very well around Madagascar. Alright, we have got more and more trade pouring up here, and honestly, I've got more ships on the way to help out with that. I'm pretty sure I also saw on the Ivory Coast, there we go, Ottomans. Ottomans are doing a whole bunch of trade here. That means there's a decent sized fleet. If they're doing that, the pirates have probably been dealt with or moved on. And the drill school is ready in the Netherlands. So that's good news as well, together with improved grenades. Now, I know we don't have any grenade lads yet, but give it time. That's going to be useful. Plus, in general, moving down the explosive tree is never bad. Because once explosive shells is done, and explosive shells are very good fun, we can move into, yes, the Great Arsenal. And once we've got that, our own artillery can start moving, which gives you such a huge amount of flexibility going forwards. Although I can't help but notice with drill school having been done, and thus a whole bunch of text becoming available, fire by rank is now open, and we're going to be wanting to do that, like, as soon as possible. Guy in here, by the way, is clearly very good at researching military text, so we're going to focus on that. No one in this school, keep them focused on explosive shells. Fire by rank is huge. Possibly the most important tech in the game, because, oh, just you wait and see. Okay, back over here to India. We really missed our chance to launch an invasion here, unfortunately, though, to be honest, it's tricky to do when you're as spread out as the Dutch start off in this game. I would say we just make peace, okay? Because I have no interest in taking this back, and they've not really got much interest in taking anything else I possess. If they're willing to make peace so we just don't raid each other, I will take it. Okay, let's just see roughly how they feel. Unschooled monkeys running your country. Okay, not keen. Let's just toss some techs at them. Because, buddy, I have got so many techs you might like. I will give you 3 technologies if you just don't raid my spice trades. They want Denmark, which is fascinating. Okay, I'm not giving them Denmark, but at the bare minimum, we now know that there's a deal to be done here. Okay, despite my best bets, they are fixated on Denmark. So, we'll come back to them later. Hopefully, they won't be bothering too much with my trade routes. Still, back in Europe, guys, I really would have thought you'd have learnt your lesson last time. Not even remotely. They've even got the same core weakness, which is a giant pile of cavalry that is just not going to be useful during a fort siege. Okay, it also turns out they have not fixed the holes in the wall from the last time I was here. So, life is good. Step 1, simply present troops to these bastards, and yes, the cavalry will charge straight out, get itself absolutely slaughtered, while the cannons on this side on this occasion knock down additional walls, because why the flip not, eh? You two guys get into position on the side to provide side and counter fire, which is just beautiful. You guys, meanwhile, start climbing up here. If you'd be so kind, you guys wait for the moment. There is about to be significant fire being laid down on these walls, so these guys are going to have to flee. And yeah, this entire side of the fort basically has no defenses on it. These guys are just firing and tearing apart these bastards. To be honest, you guys can just charge in, finish off at these lads. You guys can be in melee mode too. You'll take some knocks, but shouldn't be too difficult to wipe out the Lancers. When they don't have a charge bonus, they're basically worthless. So, you guys melee mode it up. You guys fall back a tiny amount and, yeah, just fire into anyone stupid enough to try and advance out. But at this point, yes, with counterfire coming in off the sides too, oh, this is looking very positive. Alright, I'm happy with this. Okay, the fight went pretty much exactly the same as the last one, so yeah, nice, easy, destroy the cavalry, then just slowly push into the center, seize the buildings, nothing dramatic. So let's see if this time it actually sticks. Right, that's New France destroyed. Again, I was so willing to be friends with them, but no, they had to declare war on their vastly superior neighbours for no good reason. But this time, my dear Westphalian friends, who I can't help but notice are also not at war right now with the Prussians, so they made peace same time as me. Good. If anybody wants to take France off you, they'll have to declare war on you first, so we will hear about it. So, okay, if you want to pay me for it, brilliant, but to be honest, I will give it to you for free. There we go, for free it is. So, the Westphalians, my dearest, longest, friendliest allies, are now on so many of my borders, I love it. Seriously, look at that. Look at that bright, glowing green. The Westphalians love me. Alright, they will be fantastic custodians of Channel trade, and Spain are not at war with them, so therefore the Spanish won't just come in and take it. So, with France taken care of, again, I would say that means yes indeed. There are two things next on my to-do list. One, Prussia are not allowed to just hang out at Hanover forever. That is unacceptable to me. And two, the Caribbean fight back is about to begin. We have lost enough territory, now we start pushing. Because next turn, my fleet arrives right here. The Spanish fleet will be destroyed. Their troops will be trapped and isolated. We will take back what is not really rightfully ours. I kind of stole it off pirates in the first place, but okay, we'll take it back anyway. We'll deal with the pirates once and for bloody all, and then it's time for a campaign against the Spanish South American holdings. Because if I can just get those two things lined up, then we should be in pretty bloody good shape. Now, it's not to say Westphalia won't necessarily need a little bit of help going forwards, though to their credit, the French seem to love them, so they can at least hold France and make a giant pile of money out of it. Brilliant. But yes indeed, I think we have an opportunity here to start making a bit of progress. I might be willing to take a tiny amount more land here in Central Europe, in particular Hanover, take it and hold it, and then as for Sweden, we'll have to bloody see. So, join me next time as Sweden will almost certainly march on Norway yet a bloody again, and we'll see if finally I stop paying them off and instead start flipping murdering them. So, hopefully you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Empire Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
This guy's enjoying that. This guy's enjoying his elephant a bit too much.
Oh my god.
In Fair Verona, we set our scene. Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big.
They've managed to glitch inside one of the buildings. Elephants in the rear! And then in come the chariots!